Hello everyone, welcome to soundproofguide.com. In this video, I'll show you how to soundproof an unfinished basement ceiling in 4 cheap and somewhat easy ways if you are able to do some of these DIY projects yourself. But the best time to soundproof any room of your home is when the house is still under construction. It's much easier to soundproof the inside of a wall or ceiling than trying to soundproof it after the fact. And that's what this video will be about. If you're thinking of converting your basement into an apartment, then it's crucial that you soundproof the ceiling. This is not only for a potential noisy tenant, but also from your footsteps. You do not want to be tiptoeing in your own home in an attempt to not disturb the people living under you. One thing to consider since your basement ceiling is open is to remove the ductwork from your heating system and install in-floor radiant heating. The reason for this is because the sound will easily travel through the metal ductwork and will make it much harder to soundproof the basement ceiling fully. It is, however, entirely understandable if this is too much work for you, so don't worry. There are still things you can do to block most of the noise coming from the floor above. Before we begin, let's talk about the materials needed to soundproof your unfinished basement ceiling. Here is a list of materials that I often use while soundproofing a basement ceiling or any other ceilings for that matter. This entire video can be applied for any ceilings in your home, just as long as you're in the construction phase, because that way it will be much easier since the ceiling will already be open. One product that I use is Green Glue Noise Proofing Compound. This noise-proofing compound is an excellent soundproofing product that creates a tiny air void between 2 layers of drywall. By having an air void, you're helping the soundproofing effectiveness of the wall or ceiling that you're attempting to soundproof. Also from Green Glue is the noise-proofing sealant. This is yet another great product from Green Glue that works a bit differently than the compound. The sealant is like weatherproofing caulking, but will remain pliable through time and will not crack. Caulking will usually crack due to aging and will let noise through. You should use Green Glue sealant around light fixture boxes to seal as many gaps and cracks to avoid noise coming through from the level above. The next product to make your ceiling soundproofing a success is drywall, more specifically 5/8-inch drywall. One important thing you should invest when soundproofing an unfinished basement ceiling is 5/8-inch drywall. The added thickness and weight versus the standard 1/2-inch drywall will do wonders in terms of soundproofing. They also have other added features that you can learn by clicking on the link in the description below of a full article I wrote about the difference between 1/2-inch and 5/8-inch drywall. Next is Rockwool insulation. Rockwool insulation is a much better soundproofing insulation than the standard pink fiberglass. It is indeed more expensive, but I would strongly encourage you to do at least install this sound dampening insulation on the walls and ceilings that are most prone to have noise coming through. Just a quick pause, if you like this type of content, consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you. And last is resilient channel. A resilient channel is also significant when attempting to soundproof an unfinished basement ceiling, because this material will create an air void between the basement and the floor above. I'll have a link in the description below about another article I wrote about a resilient channel and go much deeper into details on how it works and how to install it. So if that interests you, click the link. So these 5 soundproofing products, among a few others of course, will be all you need to combat noise from attacking your ears while in the basement. So let's begin with method number 1, 2 layers of drywall. One way to save a ton of money is to have 2 layers of 5/8-inch drywall coupled with a layer of Green Glue acoustic compound in between. The reason Green Glue works great in this type of soundproofing job is that it basically creates a tiny air void, like I just mentioned, between the 2 layers of drywall. You will need to apply the Green Glue in a random zigzag pattern so you get some everywhere. You will also need an extender for your electrical boxes from your fixtures because of the added thickness of the second layer of drywall. The reason it's important to use 5/8 inches is because they are much denser than the standard half-inch drywall that is used in most homes. Depending on how the floor above is constructed will depend on the amount of soundproofing you will receive from this first method. So a suitable soundproofing method would be no insulation and 2 layers of drywall using green glue. There is a tool called a drywall lift that you can use to install drywall without the help of another person easily. If you're renovating alone, then this would be something to look into. You can find a professional drywall lift for rent at your local hardware store. Not all hardware stores will carry this item, so make sure to call them and find out. You can also buy a less expensive and also lighter drywall lift for residential use from Amazon. That's in the link in the description below. When using a drywall lift, make sure the white paper side of the drywall is facing the lift, so when you're installing it, it will be facing down. Believe me, you don't want to go through all the trouble of lifting a thick sheet of drywall only to find out that you have it facing the wrong side. Number 2, drywall plus insulation. To add some extra soundproofing to your basement ceiling, you will need to add 2 layers of drywall with the green glue in between and also add some insulation. There are 2 ways of going about this process. First is the standard pink fiberglass insulation. Back in the day, you needed gloves and a mask to install fiberglass insulation, but most of the product on the market these days aren't as harmful to your skin. If you're unfamiliar with in-wall insulation, then feel free to wear gloves and a mask. Don't forget to wear your safety glasses also. The second option you could use regarding insulation would be sound deadening insulation by the name of Rockwool. Rockwool is acoustic mineral insulation that is great as acoustic insulation or as a soundproofing material. Each unit of mineral wool insulation are 8 pounds of density, making it very cost effective with a high NRC rating. It is also a water repelling, hydrophobic with a Class A fire rating. You can also use these rigid boards for making acoustic panels and bass traps if you have some leftovers. Number 3, acoustic tiles. A third way to help drown some of the noise coming from the upstairs level of an unfinished basement is by installing acoustic tiles. Installing tiles will give you easy access into your ceiling if you need to get in there for future home repairs. Acoustic ceiling tiles are great if you already have a suspended ceiling in your basement. You will get much better soundproofing with a dense acoustic versus the cheap fiberglass insulated ceiling tiles from the past. You might pay more money for these types of ceiling tiles, but you will also get a better noise reduction coming from the upstairs. They also look much better than the cheap tiles. And then the final is resilient channel. Another great method to help soundproof an unfinished basement ceiling is with the help of a resilient channel. A resilient channel is a thin metal channel that is specifically designed to improve the sound insulation of drywall, sheetrock, plasterboards, and ceilings by quite a large margin compared to the use of insulation only. The channel will effectively isolate drywall from the framing studwork. This will leave an air gap that will result in the weakening of sound waves substantially. Installing of the resilient channel to an unfinished basement ceiling or even a wall is an easy and effortless process. The thin metal channel only measured ½ inch of thickness and will provide you with a much better soundproofing effectiveness when comparing it to similar products that are available in the market. One thing to note here when installing the resilient channel is that the acoustic qualities of this product can improve when applying a thin layer of absorbent tape to the flange of the drywall mount. There's also another type of material that you can add to your basement ceiling, which is called mass-loaded vinyl. Mass-loaded vinyl is very dense and is great at blocking noise. I have a full video and a full article on my website, soundproofguide.com, about what mass-loading vinyl is and how it works, and also a full YouTube video about what it is and how it works, of course. So you can also go visit those videos and articles to learn more about this product. So there you have it. These 4 ways to soundproof an unfinished basement ceiling should get you well on your way in making your basement much quieter than it is currently. Let us know in the comment section if you have any questions on this topic, and also don't forget to visit our other videos on our YouTube channel for more DIY soundproofing projects. If you like this type of content, consider subscribing to this channel, and you can also visit our website soundproofguide.com for many articles about soundproofing and DIY projects. Thank you.